Hello people, Matt Wessel here. So, I'm going to try to teach you, to the best of my knowledge, some tips about shooting a compound bow. I'm not an absolute expert in this subject, but I have some experience personally with this, so maybe you'll learn something. Your modern day compound bow is going to have a lot of features on it. Just so much technology these days, everything is just so high tech. Even a cheap ass one that you get at Dick's Sporting Goods. So even a cheap ass bow is going to have a lot of features on it. So you have your fiber optic sights. Here, hold on. Got your fiber optic sights. This yellow one on top will shoot 20 yards. This red one in the middle will shoot 30 yards, and you want to aim with this green one on the bottom to aim for 40 yards. See here, I kind of have it lined up at the target. That little white dot back there, that's a target. That's 30 yards away. It seems a lot farther away with the camera though. And you'll have a whisker biscuit. There's a number of ways that this will hold the arrow in place, like so. There's a number of ways that you can hold it, that an arrow can be held onto your bow, but I recommend using a whisker biscuit. Now, whenever you're putting the arrow onto the bow, it's very important that, for one, you'll have three different colors on your bow. There's two of them, like here's a green feather, and then you'll have one off-color one, white. In this case, it's a white one. So the off-color one wants to be on your right-hand side whenever it goes onto the nock. So on the right-hand side, make sure you click all the way, and it must make a clicking sound. Probably, now this is a pretty cheap arrow. If they're more expensive, the nocks on them will probably grip them tighter and make a click. So if you kind of have the nock on just halfway, basically what you're doing whenever you pull the bow back, you're just pulling it back dry. And if you pull and you release it without the weight of the arrow, that can become dangerous. Your string will move so quickly because there's no resistance from the arrow resting onto it, that it could have it might be in danger of just snapping apart, damaging your bow, and potentially injuring yourself. Not cool. So make sure the nock is on all the way. I'm going to get a better shot at this eventually, so there you go. It's on all the way. I've got the off-color feather on the right side, and furthermore, you want to make sure that you have a feather that's on top, and then it's pointing left and then right. And the reason for this is because, see the whisker biscuit? These darker feathers on the very bottom, well, they're more like hairs. On the very bottom, they're very coarse. These feathers are not going to be able to go through that, at least not very easily, without some resistance. They need to go through these less coarse brown hairs. So if you have a feather pointing straight down, it's going to go through that black part. We don't want that. Okay, so now that you have your arrow set up, your left hand, well, in which case this will be my left hand, holds onto this handle. There's a strap around your wrist. Now I said I hold onto this handle, but actually whenever you're pulling back, you're not doing that. You do not want to grip this whenever you pull back. If you grip it, it has a tendency, for one, to bring unwanted tension to your body while you're pulling it back. You don't need to grip this. And two, if you grip it, it has a tendency to make your bow want to move over, like so. Also, if you grip it, it will also bring your forearm closer to the string, and when you let go, it could rub against your forearm and cause a lot of irritation on your skin. Trust me, it hurts. Most of us usually wear some sort of a guard, but I think they kind of get in the way myself, especially if they're a thick leather guard. A lot of the time it will hit the end of the guard and kind of flip it back and really fuck your shot up. So I don't even use the guards. What I do, I just keep my arms straight. My fingers should be relaxed, staying outward, and I rotate my forearm like so. Rotate it so that it's pointing away from the string. Okay. Now the vast majority of compound bow shooters these days will have a trigger instead of using your fingers. Now some of the distinct advantages of using a trigger, one of them being, grab it, one of them being you've got a trigger and it just goes so easy. It's just like pulling the trigger on a gun. Instead of using 3 fingers to release, just pulling with trigger, this little trigger is going to be a lot more accurate, a lot cleaner release than having 3 fingers release like that. Also, whenever you're pulling back, and let's say you need to hold back on your bow for a while, like perhaps you're trying to shoot at a deer and the deer is within range and then you pull it back, but nope, it's not quite the moment to shoot because it's right behind a tree, you have to hold it back for a while. You've got the grip of your entire fist, all your fingers and your thumb holding on to this handle to make it easier for you to pull it back and keep it back there. That's another advantage of using a trigger. Disadvantages include the fact that your hands are tied up. Look at this. Both my hands are tied up. It makes it hard to do anything with my hands. It's more difficult than if I did not have a trigger on at all, if my hand was free. I could just probably shoot arrows much quicker. I could grab arrows much quicker. I could do other things with my hand, like perhaps using my rangefinder to know how far away my game is before I take my shot. But I use a trigger. The vast majority of compound bow shooters these days use a trigger. I would highly recommend you using one. Now, if you are going to have a trigger on your bow, you're going to want to have a separate D-loop string tied right behind the nock of your arrow because, I mean, you can't just grab your string. The nock is in the way. So you make a separate D-loop and you grab the D-loop with the trigger. Now anybody can go out there and shoot a bow, but there really is a method to it, and you've got to practice and do this a lot to get good at it, just like anything else in life. Okay, so you're ready to pull your bow back. Let's talk about some of the finer key points of your body and the form your body should be in whenever you are ready to shoot. We'll start from the ground down with the way your feet should be positioned. Your feet should be within shoulder length apart of each other. If I step back, you can see the bare spots on the ground where my feet have been all day practicing. In which case, my right foot will be my anchor, and my left foot is going to point more towards the target. Here's a target up here. There you go. See, I'm standing on my side as if standing sort of on a skateboard, and this would be the straight line I would be going in, right at this target. And then my feet are kind of pointing that direction. I wouldn't absolutely point my left foot at the target. I think that puts a little bit too much tension on my left calf. So not quite a 90-degree angle, but more towards the target is what I'm aiming for. And apparently when you're practicing, shoes are optional. So my feet are below me, shoulder width apart, to their sides. Target is directly beside me, right where my head is pointing and my bow is pointing. So I'm ready to shoot. I've got my trigger. Make sure you're strapped in quite securely around your wrist, on both wrists, for the trigger and on your bow. I grab the D-loop. Now, whenever you pull back the trigger, this is very important. Whenever you pull back on the trigger, your finger, your index finger, which is what you'll use to release the trigger, will be the same finger. Your index finger will be pushing this way against the trigger whenever you pull back. I need to move the fucking camera. Hold on. Okay. So, whenever you're shooting whenever you're pulling back with the trigger, you push your index finger this direction to make sure it doesn't snap off whenever you pull back. If you were to pull it back without using the trigger, I think chances are it would hold together, but there's no guarantee and it's just not safe. So to ensure that your trigger stays secure the whole time, push forward, push your finger forward, so that one, it doesn't slip off, and two, you know exactly where the trigger is, so that whenever you're ready to shoot, all you have to do is put your finger around and then press, pull the trigger. So, here we go. Also, keep in mind the way you're pulling your arrow back. Let me move this. You've got to move this. You will do not point the arrow down and pull back like this. That's putting too much pressure on your biceps and your chest. Do not pull the arrow way the hell up this way and pull back. Again, that's still putting too much pressure on your biceps and your chest, mainly on the arm that you pull back with, in which case will be my right hand. You want to stay straight, and you want to pull back, and you want your elbow be up and use your back and your shoulder. Like so. You want to use your shoulder and your back. You've got big muscle groups in that area, and they can pull more weight than your arms can. Don't use your arms. If you use your arms all day long, I've probably shot this bow about 50 times a day. I probably wouldn't be able to hardly move them. They'd be like jelly by now. So you pull back. Your left hand should be relaxed. Your right hand is gripping and pulling back. Just make sure whenever you pull your bow back that you're make sure that everything's in the same place. Your trigger is about on your jawline. You should feel the string on the bow kind of going against the bridge of your nose and around your cheek. And check this out. This little thing, they call this a kisser button. And it is exactly what it applies. This is actually supposed to go in the corner of your mouth, just to have another point of reference. It's like fitting a puzzle piece together. All those should just be in the exact same spot that you're used to putting them in. And if you keep on doing that, then you know you're having the exact same form and shooting it the exact same way every time for more consistent and accurate shots. Whenever you let the trigger go, it's going to go surprisingly fast, and you just have to get used to it. And just make it easy. Your left hand should stay still the entire time. You're not gripping the bow. Even after you let go, just let your bow fall forward. Just let it fall forward and relax. That's part of the follow through. One part of the follow through is your eyes. Stay on the target, watch the arrow, watch where it goes. The other part of the follow through is that your arm still stays up. It's kind of like with shooting a basketball. You don't, like let's say you shoot the basketball, you don't just freeze your hand the moment that the ball leaves your body. If you do that, then it's going to be a terrible shot. You just got to follow through with it. Got to ride the waves.